They're so fast with the draft, they're actually beating voiceover man every time. Look at this.
They're like halfway
already. Leshrac first picked again, Gyro Clockwork back on the board, and as you rightly pointed out, we do have a Techies ban and a Naga Siren ban as well, so it pretty much was what we thought, but not quite the way you thought.
Because what we actually forgot to think about, and that's probably why we're not drafting, why it's PPD, is that he's picking Dire over first pick, and it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because indeed the Leshrac, they can't really use it. So it's just picking Dire over first pick.
Yeah, and we saw CDEC picking Dire all the way through the group stages, so they favoured that all the time.
Yeah, and all the way until very late in the main event as well, where they did pick Radiant once, but that could be to try and say, hey, we can play Radiant too, whereas they must be more comfortable on Dire. There's no way that they're not. So I think this is smart from PPD.
If you were PPD, though, wouldn't you rather get first pick?
I don't think so.
I thought because you get Leshrac, Naga, or Techies.
Yeah, you're gonna get one if you're.
But you just played against the Leshrac and you were not scared of that.
That doesn't mean that they can't switch it up to mid. That's what we were scared of.
That has to be the way that they're going to play, isn't it?
I mean, I would. If I were CDEC, I would be like, okay, we got to put this thing mid. He's too weak as a support.
I think this is risky from him. I kind of agree. I think getting first pick sounded safer. But if he thinks like it is true that their Leshrac was not so impressive, but they can maybe play it mid. But why would they run it on support last game if they actually can destroy Leshrac mid? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Like it's a big sign of weakness, though. That's why PPD is reading it.
He's just
like taunting him.
Exactly. Yeah.
It all depends how high EG think that CDEC are rating Dire. They played very many games on Dire before they actually tried to play one game on Radiant. Sure, they won the Radiant game.
And the Skywrath pick was really good because Aggressive almost always builds his PL drums into BOTs without a heavy farming style, and his silence just owns him until he gets Diffusal.
To me, Dire is not really why CDEC is so strong. Dire's like, they have a backup plan when they are Dire, because last game, for example, if they're Dire, they can, get Roche, then they can keep on being aggressive, and suddenly they're even with the team, although they fed a lot of kills. That's why Dire is so good for CDEC. But if they're not Dire and they're Radiant and they actually stomp people like they used to do on Dire, we've seen it. It's 20 minutes game, so it doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, I agree. It's more of a taunt than an actual. Like, again, you would prefer first pick in this.
I think so.
I think CDEC are going for a similar style, actually. They already have the Leshrac, of course, but I think they should run it mid. Tusk being picked up is just a CDEC hero, and banning out Ember feels like they want to get the PL again.
The EG heroes, why do they counter CDEC? Gyro is a very strong hero to fight with very early on. We've seen Fear counter initiating with the Gyro, and then suddenly we're like, oh, they killed the Storm, but then they get triple kill because of the cooldown and the barrage. Clockwork, same, very nice counter initiation. Also the scouting, if they're just farming their jungle or if they're up to something with a smoke game, for example.
I think it's more important for CDEC to counter the offlane of Universe than it is to try and repeatedly gank Sumail mid. Sumail has made awesome comebacks mid at DAC. He did it in last game as well. And if you get a 15-minute blade mail on the Clockwork offlane, that is a real issue, and you can definitely stop that.
I think you can actually gank him, but don't overdo it. I felt the last game they just overdid it, and it wasn't worth it at the end of the day for putting so much effort. One gang is fine, maybe two, but not more than that.
And after one gang, you get pretty scared as a mid player as well. You know there's going to be a second gang coming around, or at least that's in your head.
It's a classic also mechanism where you actually keep on shutting down the lane, then the two other lanes are doing quite fine, and they just create space for the guy that's shut down. He was able to farm jungle for like 10 minutes, that's even worse than dying mid.
Yeah, I mean at 10 minutes he had 85 last hits or something because of jungle. That's
you'd rather shut him down later than kill him one more time.
Exactly, because it's only after a certain amount of levels that kills actually matter that much. Give a lot of gold, a lot of death time. Early on, you're dead for like 10 seconds, and you're like, okay, I got ganked, that's fine.
Definitely.
I like them picking up the Tusk, though. It was banned out in the second phase by Evil Geniuses, and it's just a much better fighter, I feel like, and you can also, save people from Clockwork Hookshot and into the cogs. You can also, run away and make big plays with maybe dodging the call down from Gyrocopter. It seems like there's a much higher skill cap to that hero than Spear Breaker.
Yeah, I would agree, definitely. It's kind of also the snowball, like we've seen that they can use that spell very efficiently. And versus those heroes, especially versus Gyro, for example, it's a great spell to have. And EG going for the same exact draft, which is quite interesting. I mean, it worked out pretty well for them. I think it was more of the way they played than the draft. Obviously, the draft allowed it, but I think it's more of the discipline they had for that first game. That's what probably caught CDEC off guard.
To me, this is just PPD saying, okay, I have something that worked really well against you. What are you going to do to counter it? So far, he wants to see a mix-up in the draft from CDEC, else he's going to go for the same style again.
So someone just tweeted at me a stat that Shiki has 16 pop games with Leshrac over 4 years.
Okay.
That guy he does not play Leshrac mid.
Yeah,
apparently.
that's actually interesting in this patch, because almost every mid player has spammed the strongest mid heroes.
And he has 4,000 games. So
I certainly hope he has a Smurf account for Leshrac.
Well, he could also be playing at CDEC games. It's not that it might only pull stats from ranked MM.
That's true.
But I certainly hope he's played it more, or else they're probably in trouble again.
Let's say it's not a lot for even for anyone that would play Leshrac. It's not a lot, and that's probably why. I mean, everything speaks for that. That's why they had Leshrac on support last game, so it's not a coincidence.
And even if you play Leshrac support really well, it's so hard to have a massive impact with it. Garter got some beautiful double stunts, but it's just not the same as Lina.
I have this feeling we might see it safe lane. I don't know why. After listening to that stat. Yeah, I mean safe lane Leshrac.
Yeah.
After hearing about that stat.
Better in support.
Slightly
Off lane Leshrac?
No, safe lane Leshrac.
No, I know, but I mean, what are the options? Off lane, safe lane?
I mean, safe lane, probably. That's a step up at least.
On the safe lane, it would fit aggressive style quite a lot, I'd say. It's a hero that's really good at, turning ganks or just, some skirmish starts, and then suddenly there's Leshrac that comes and just clears everything.
It's also very good. You can get super early Bloodstone, and he's laning pretty well against Clockwork. I don't know. I just don't want to see a support Lesh again, because it's so hard to execute against a Clockwork. You get punished.
So what are we looking at for Sumail mid heroes now that Storm's gone? I guess Lina and Wind Ranger? Maybe?
Wind.
There's your TA, they're on Dire. Possible pickup there.
It's not a great TA game. I think Windrunner suits really well though, but I don't know if they want to pick the mid hero already, because they don't really know what CDEC are doing.
I feel like Lina could really be
Yeah, that's still Lina.
Yeah.
Right.
For the EG, sorry, not CDEC.
Yeah, they're hiding. They will hide their last pick, or their mid for last pick.
Why would you pick Winter Wyvern that right now? Is it a counter to Visage in a sense? Because it's a really bad hero to have versus Leshrac. Really, it really is. It sets up so well for the Leshrac.
But maybe they just expect the same out of CDEC again with the Lesh. And if it's a support, you don't really care, because he can't run in the same way a mid Lesh does.
Yeah, I always think it is a Leshrac core, so
Same.
Leshrac support, it's very different, I guess. Not the same burst damage.
It does counter the birds really hard though. The Cold Embrace is very nice. You can just protect yourself. And it's a nice way to try and keep the Clockwork alive after he initiates, actually.
I mean, they still have a lot of team fight with the Violent plus CM plus Gyro, so there's still a lot of synergy within their own lineup.
I don't even think they had to ban the PL, to be honest. Looking at EG's lineup, they have a great lineup to deal with PL.
And co-op yet again.
What is going on?
Now I kind of hope that it's not a core Leshrac, because core Leshrac and Queen together really don't match.
Yeah,
So.
we saw that from BP, and we felt that it didn't work very well together.
Yeah, if you don't win super early, I think the only way you can play Queen of Pain and Leshrac core together, you have to build Necrobook and push, like Necro Queen. But else it just doesn't work.
I mean, unless you go completely, I'd say YOLO, you just keep on diving and keep on, if you're so much ahead, then I could see Quap and Leshrac, being able to actually carry you and end the game, but it's indeed not the best core duo to have, because as we said earlier, those heroes, they do the same pretty much.
That is indeed very true.
I mean, the first rotation has to be very successful. They're going to do the same thing. Queen, if they do Queen safe lane, they're going to move the Queen into a smoke once she hits 6. Visage will take the lane, and they have to work much better this time, the timing of the gank.
They could try and contest as well. Queen Tusk lane is not super weak if they want to, but I think they should utilize the Visage and Tusk together.
Wind Ranger at your service.
Oh, there we go. That's a male Ranger. That's dangerous for a Queen. If he gets Blink Dagger on Windrunner, he can definitely kill the Queen off.
They also used it solo versus Lesh. I think it was Vici's Lesh. So, I mean, now they even have the strength of the Crystal Maiden. So I actually think it's, 45-55 in Wind Ranger's favor, maybe.
Against the Leshrac?
Against either of them.
Oh. Yeah, I think Wind Ranger actually wins against Queen.
5 seconds remaining.
But yeah, the game that I'm thinking about where we saw Sumail's Windrunner against the Storm, that's just the perfect matchup, of course. Oh god.
They did not see that coming.
Spiders are here. That's a mix-up.
Hey, thank you very much, gents. Let's go down to the commentary team for game number 2.
Yes, let's get underway for game number 2 of our TI5 Grand Final, where CDEC Gaming is going up against Evil Geniuses. CDEC, they looked unstoppable coming into this Grand Final, but currently 1 game down against Evil Geniuses. Synderen, Brood, last pickup. Something new.
This is a very good Brood pick. I think it's funny because LD just tweeted out a moment ago, no Brood ban. And I was like, yeah, that's actually true. This has generally been banned in the second phase a lot, and then they snap it. They grab it here. I think this is a really good last pick. This is not the kind of game plan that EG, this is not what they were planning for, right? They get the picks they want, and this can just completely ruin their laning stage. They don't have a very good support duo against the Broodmother. I do think, however, this is the first time we see CDEC play it in this tournament. Maybe they've played it like once or twice before, but not I don't recall seeing a single one at the main event, at least. So definitely bringing something new to the table once again. And this time it's going to be Shiki/Rack in the mid lane, so it is not a support Lesh. I gotta say, this time around, I do feel like CDEC have got a much more solid draft against what EG grabbed than in game 1.
Yeah, it really does look a lot better, but it's something outside of the box for CDEC. It's not this we group up as 5 kind of thing anymore, even though there is still a little bit of potential for that. We need to watch the presence of this 4-1 split, which comes with the effect of picking up a Broodmother. CDEC will need to get this down pat. So XZ will be the Broodmother for this offlane. We'll say he's going to have himself a... most of EG moving up there later on, because it will be Fierce lane. Universe already blocked out the pull point with both Observer and Sentry for the Radiant side, while they actually put down a little bit more of a, I don't know if we can actually class this as a defensive ward, more of just a rune ward watching the jungle movements of Evil Geniuses, Observer ward for CDEC. And they will ensure they get top rune, so there will be no battle. Both teams are looking to opposite runes.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be secured top lane, and Shiki's going to get over top river. EG, both teams actually have really good level 1 fight, but they just decide to play it safe and just do a trade-off here. No, they're giving it to XZ.
To the Broodmother. Are they switching this up? Okay, so we're running an off-lane Quap, a mid-lane Brood, and a safe lane Lesh.
Okay, they're not only surprising EG with the pick, they're also surprising them with the laning. This is definitely not what they were expecting.
But there's already a sentry ward here for PPD, so Sumail has to go up against the Broodmother. And where are the counter sentries? There's one on the Brood. We have to watch this closely to see who's able to tango down the ward before it actually happens. Because Sumail's going to keep high ground vision with this Observer ward here, but he needs to have the true sight. PPD's just preparing... Well, he's just preparing his own farm right now. But Sumail's getting a real rough time. XZ's getting up in his face and just chipping away at him.
And he has a poor man's shield starter, so the exchange is going to favor him every single time they hit each other. He's going to start making his first spiraling here.
But Ichi also switched up their lane, so it's a Queen of Pain versus a Clockwork. There's very little a Clockwork can do about this, unless he can force the Queen of Pain to get caught out of position with no blink. But in trade-off, EG now run and I won't say an aggressive dual lane, but there's still a lot of aggression that can come from it, with both Fear and Aoi, with this Jaro and Wyvern combining together for this off lane.
They're not going to win this lane either, if CDEC play it right. This 3-on-2 favors them, not by just a little bit, but actually by a lot. They can just initiate with the Tusk with a follow-up stun from Lesh, when Lesh is level 2, and then the Soul Assumption. Gyrocopter is not tanky in the start. He has 7 armor right now, but he does not have much health. Just this extreme magic damage burst that this lane can provide. Fear will just... he's done. He's going away. Like, he doesn't want to play this lane. He's going to go top instead. This is also not a good matchup, though. He's a level 1 Gyro against a level 3 Queen of Pain. I don't think this could have gone any better for CDEC in the first 2 minutes with the lanes they've got, apart from the fact that Sumail is apparently destroying XC in mid, but we're used to seeing Sumail just doing extremely well in the first few minutes in the mid matchup.
It's the Broodmother trying to find last hits and just being incapable of doing so, but also Sumail with a level 2 power shot, able to burn through a couple of Spirelings. So the CS looks a little bit lopsided where it's 14-3 against 7-2, and that's because half of that is actually Spirelings for Sumail. So it's not as much money as you'd expect, but it's still keeping him in front of the Broodmother.
Okay, so they have picked it 3 times at this event. They are 2-1 with it at DAC, or at DAC, at TI. Yeah, that's right.
Living in the now, Sind.
Yeah, let's focus on this event. Did these guys actually even play at DAC? I can't remember if CDEC were present in that tournament.
Gotta be careful. The Cogs, he's actually locked in here. The Shards blocked his path out, and Universe will be the first blood going the way of CDEC.
Okay, so here's the problem for EG. They cannot put a lane bottom. There's no one in their lineup who can face up against this tri-lane. They have absolutely no solution.
There's no one who could move into the jungle. Like, you can't just have like someone like a Storm Spirit or a Darkseer move into the jungle and take that farm instead.
It's a very difficult situation for them. That they'll have to find a solution for it. For now, they've just been jungling the CM of PPD, and they might be looking to maybe rotate on this mid lane, although, as similar to last game, Sumail should have a pretty good idea that he is winning the lane right now. But he's still being pressured while winning on farm, and AUI is going to come in.
Oh, now the snowball. This could be opening right now, especially with the Shards locking Sumail in underneath the tower. Still a lot of damage being taken here by the Visage, and they're looking for a revenge pickoff, and with the Shards, Wyvern will take it. It is going to be Aoi. It's a lot of damage onto that Broodmother as well. He might consider dropping that sentry ward and getting rid of it.
He knows there's the sentry now. He got hit by 2 tower shots under his web. Sumail placed it just a moment ago as well, so if he places that right now and eats the ops and this, he only has 1 tango. So he has to pick which one he eats, and then he can just attack the other one. That would give him a better grip on the mid lane. Now with Sumail dead, XZ is level 5.5, same as Sumail. So now this lane is pretty much dead even on gold.
Snowball top lane, Fear's in trouble, and this is the rotation we're expecting from CDEC during game number 1, and what we've seen from them this entire tournament. The lanes, yes, they've gone horribly wrong for EG, but CDEC, their movement, they don't leave any lane unpressured.
EG have to start getting somewhat active, or at least they need to get out their amazing counter ganks that they had in game number 1. But it's way less predictable in this game how the movements are going to be because of the pressure CDC are putting on the lanes in general. Last game they didn't have the strongest laning phase, but this time around they're the ones kind of deciding the tempo of the game. This could be an interesting play for EG if they could manage to get the setup in the bottom lane. Shiki is pretty far up the lane. They can move in the Clockwork with Battery Assault, and of course AUI can fly over here with the Arctic Burn. They're thinking about it, but they don't feel like they have enough information to really go for this kill right now.
They don't know who else is behind it. They know they've at least blocked up the camp, but that doesn't mean anything. They're not seeing any other heroes. In fact, Tusker is the man just sitting in middle lane wondering what's going on. And if Universe aggressively moves down the lane, Shiki will just back up. He's got Arcane Boots, he's quite happy just to bail out. And in fact, yeah, Aoi's going to realize this is not going to work. Throws out an Observer Ward, but this might have actually, it didn't get pinged out by CDEC, but they have an Observer Ward of their own watching the movements of the Wyvern. Another reason why Shiki's being a little bit more on his toes. Shards and Snowball going on Sumail, but he's well behind the tower, and Guard is throwing up the Sigil to ensure his safety as he retreats back from the tier 1.
If they don't get him locked in with the shards, this kill is just not happening unless they have a third hero in the gank. But it's gonna fail. And EG are once again, they're looking good in the mid lane as far as farm goes, but this time around Fear is not having a free lane. He has been ganked. He is also tied on farm with the Leshrac, whereas in the last game I feel like he was having a little bit of a... No, was he even having an early lead on CS? I think in the beginning Aggressive might have had the same, but
Aggressive was ahead of him. He had a lot more denies as well.
But Fear very quickly caught up. I don't think that's going to be the case in this game. I think Shiki is going to be able to stay toe-to-toe with him at the very least. Also, Core Leshrac farms very quickly when he gets a couple items. So, how long has AUI been here?
The last 2 to 3 minutes, and now PPD being slowed up. PPD turns for just 1 Frost Nova. He can't do anything about it. EG lose 1. The rocket damage actually quite heavy until a track, but meanwhile, you're snowballing after Sumail. He's wind running up, but now the call down from Fear with the rocket barrage. Black Cannon, they get the shackle on Garner. He can't ensure the last hit of damage. to try and bring down Zamel, and the extra support. The Sonic Wave comes in from Aggressive. Perfect time to move in, so it'll be a 1-for-1 trade-off.
I love the fact for EG that Fear is getting involved here and goes for the counter gank mid. They have to kind of bait CDEC into these positions where the cooldown can turn on them, and they get one kill here only, unfortunately for them. Was that what happened to the bottle? Is that okay? Oh, it's okay.
Everything's fine. Apart from Samel's life, that's not as fine.
Yeah, he's not looking too good right now, but CDEC once again with a better trade, and AUI wasted so much time in that bottom lane. He was hanging around, hoping for the gank, and the moment they finally rotate over PPD, he just gets killed. Nice shackle in the mid lane.
They need more control of him. They do have the sentry ward down to them. Watching where the Broodmother's going, and a hook shot in from Universe, combining with the power shot from the Wind Ranger. Before this was going to happen, I was kind of like, hey man, Broodmother, great lane in the mid, able to come back nicely, scouted out the stacks of the Dire jungle, so wanted to move in and try and take these out to keep her net worth up high. But now with this kill, the Broodmother really starting to lose her grip on the mid lane. And maybe we also start to look at the side lanes now. Rotations from CDEC.
Queen of Pain of Aggressive is gonna find AUI here. I don't think he can kill him because he doesn't have Sonic. And as a matter of fact, there could be a line for a Shackle if Samable doesn't have the vision just then. Landed, and Aggressive will just blink into the lane and farm up a bit. So dodging a bullet there. Okay, taking another one. Are still gonna survive?
Very difficult to escape the splinters.
CDEC have a smoke on guard. Okay, there we go.
Yes.
Whenever they pick up smokes, so I think this is the team that holds onto their smokes for the shortest time. Like it feels like they buy it and they go. They just have a plan. They want to keep the aggression up, get the ganks in. They now know Samel is in the bottom lane, so they could have a really good opening here on Universe in mid. And if they do manage to catch him out, they should be able to claim the tower for Brood as well, which is a huge impact on the game. It's going to allow him to.
Fear's already here. They're going to go on Universe, but the cooldown's going to come in. Universe with a rocket barrage. You're going to stay alive here. Support was above, even hook-shotting himself back over to AUI to ensure everything is safe. And EG brought their entire team as well. And CDEC saw this since they backed up. That Observer Ward in between the towers, seeing everything.
Gyro is such an incredible counter ganker when you're in the right place at the right time. When you don't have to TP in and then drop your call down, which takes way too long, but you can just drop it from the fog. CDEC, I think, making the right call there, just getting out instead of trying to dive for the kill and maybe losing 2 or even 3 heroes. So Fear with another heads-up play. But as a result, he's still farming pretty well. He's being very, very effective in his movement. It's not like he's just hanging out in the mid lane, waiting there for 2 minutes for a gank to happen, similar to what the Wyvern did bot. He is just reading CDEC very well, and now he's going to have to read them extremely. Okay, he is very good here.
There's Rocket Barrage damage. He's still going to live in 1 charges, but it's not going to be enough.
Immediate Caster's Curse. He's reading them very well, gets ganked.
Well, CDEC also reading the game nicely. They understand Fear and his Gyrocopter, just how many issues they'll create for CDEC. While this tier 1 tower, Samel's going to try and keep it alive. You can only go for the denial, in fact, is able to claim it, and then power shots down all the Spiderlings too. So much extra money while on top lane. Visage caught out by Universe, and they're able to find that kill with the help of PPD. Universe not having even expended his hook shot to do this kill. And PPD's going to find another one. Lastrike's coming in, and as Clockwork wants to try and help him out. The hook shot down into the cogs. Where's your battery of Solus? There as well. They got extra help coming in from Samel. They're looking for the damage with the power shot. They want him dead, and they've got him dead.
He was so close to landing a lightning storm on PPD, but he finds the fog just in the last second there on the Crystal Maiden. And Shiki, of course, missing the first stun. He did have a chance, but did get dodged by PPD in that situation. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the supports on both teams, because it's very important with these level 6s, actually aggressive.
Yeah, he's going up to Aoi, but with that cold embrace, Aoi, yeah, he's not going to survive. The damage from the tower is not going to be enough either. The Clockwork rocket was flying down from Universe. He might have been expecting his Wyvern to survive a little bit longer. But yeah, about the supports.
Yeah, so both the supports on both teams are actually finding decent levels. PPD is level 7.5, Min 11, which is very high for CM. Wyvern 5.5, Visage almost 6, and Tusk 5.5. I think it favors CDEC a bit more when their heroes get level 6. The Tusk and the Visage are extremely potent for ganks. It gives them a lot more information as well with the familiars together with Broodlings. They can really start taking control of the map and look for the ganks. Similar to what EG did in the last game with their Clockwork and Storm, they will be doing it by finding the information with just their summons and then taking it from there. Oh, that was really close here.
That was just an inch off, both in length and direction.
And at the same time for EG, the Winter's Curse from Wyvern. When you snowball in 2 heroes, the immediate counterplay from Wyvern can really destroy your combination. And they have to give Wyvern level 6 now. It looks like they will as well. AUI will take 2 waves.
Sumail locked to the trees, trying to cut through it with the power shot. But Carter are going to body block him up right now. That's it, just making life difficult. Not to mention the rest of CDEC coming in with the stuns. They'll find themselves the pick. At the same time, EG, they're searching for this Broodmother, the Spirelings. They're chasing down PPD. The battery assault from Universe trying to keep him back, and now she cold embrace into the Splinter. That's some really good farm for Aoi.
And the Ice Shard's positioning for that gank on Sumail was just effortless. Oh, Fear almost getting the
homing missile, actually...
It's level 1.
Okay, yeah, that's not enough damage. And it also probably won't get back past the towers.
But what was that? The Ice Shards that Tusk got off down here, this is like the Cliff of Doom for EG. That one right there. That's where they lost their game 1 to CDEC as well against Tusk. He cut them off with Ice Shards and split the fight in 2. And they actually got a really good fight that looked like EG could have gained even more momentum. It was the first of many fights that CDEC managed to grab in that game. And Ice Shards are so good on choke spots like that. You really just... They lock you down for so long. It's like Fissure, but in a way more controllable as far as angle goes.
They see him. They see the Broodmother cursing directly away, and the Spirelings turn on their mother as the Clockwork jumps in, but there's so many spiders in. The battery assault's not doing the work up against the Broodmother. The hunger is just insatiable from XZ. The Universe being cold and braced up. Broodmother still running away, but they've lost the vision now. And in comes Shiki with the lightning bouncing around Universe as well as AUI, but with a shackle, the Lashrak is controlled. There's nowhere near enough damage to find any kind of revenge kill on EG as Fear with a Sonic Wave. A little bit of trouble. The familiar stuns as well as the spines. They find the kill, but PPD letting it go right now until the snowball comes in from CDEC. They need more. Universe is on the run. The Cogs going to push back the rest of CDEC, buying space for Sumail until Aggressive comes in with a scream. The familiars will do the work in Q. We'll find a pickup on Universe. A 3-for-1 trade-off.
And it looked like Shiki was getting over-aggressive there. Great shackle from Sumail, but the backup from CDEC, once again, they're so quick at gathering up. It's something the panel has talked about a lot as far as their playstyle goes. This is probably the fastest team at rotating and at backing each other up. And in this case, you can't really say they outnumbered EG, but the key point about this fight is that the calldown missed. It's been the winning point in every single skirmish EG has had. This time around, Fear doesn't land it. And with that on cooldown, they're able to chase them down with the Grave Chill, as well as the spiders in the web.
Let's start to talk about our late game. How does CDEC end this game against Evil Geniuses? You're running a Brood, you're running a Lesh. So how do you actually take out EG and still ensure you can take the ranks without losing your entire team? Is this when you look towards Broodmother with Necro units? Because you went for a Blance to start with. What's the build?
You could look to split push. You could also just look to control the map. Like the ultimate goal. Oh, there's the call down.
Yeah, PPD got the vision with the Sentry Ward, but now Broodmother just runs away from Fear. He even triggered drum charges for this, but couldn't find it.
I think CDEC, the main point the main thing they need to accomplish is to get more towers right now. Looking at the base push is of course something they're going to have to do eventually, but if they manage to get far enough ahead on towers and have Root just control the entire jungle, they can be really flexible in what items they need to find.
Universe, nice hook shot down. He's going to trigger up the dust, and they see the Broodmother perfectly, and PPD, there we go again, all over the Broodmother, and he will go down this time, and as real Crystal Maidens do, you wait the full 10 seconds.
He's like, I keep getting money in on my bank account because he runs Broodlings into me. Okay, I mean, that's cool. Just give me a little bit of more gold.
That's a rich CM then.
I think the Broodmother was like, okay, why is he still channeling his ultimate? He's got to stop now. Okay, he's got to stop now.
Shackle bottom lane. Sumail catching out Garda. AUI is here as well, going to curse him up. And that means Tuskar can go nowhere. Aggressive tried to come in, but he doesn't really have mana ready to fight. Staring down Sumail, the lightning will start it off, and that's where he can do a little bit more work. It's coming in from Lashrak, looking for any kind of block. In fact, Sumail turns onto the shackle. You'll have the splinter coming in from AUI, making it a little bit more nerve-wracking if Lashrak was going to force the issue. But without the Sonic Wave from the Queen of Pain, there wasn't enough damage to counter the gank from EG.
They've got a couple of good kills in the last few minutes, EG. And this has to happen for them because else the map is going to fall apart. If they can keep on finding the picks, it disallows CDEC from grouping up as 4 and having Brood split pushing, or even as they have done so far. They are really fighting with their Brood. It's often the Brood initiating the ganks with the Spiderlings, forcing out Cold Embrace, getting into a position where she can attack with Insatiable Hunger, and then, of course, there's been a couple of counterplays from EG, but overall, XZ has actually had really good success in this game with an alternative playstyle for this Brood that we see very rarely these days.
Instead, that's where we were looking for at the very, very start of the draft. It's like this 4-1, which is just so uncharacteristic of CDEC. Now a whole bunch of Spirelings actually chasing in the universe. They don't actually find him until the creep wave connects.
Tower is under attack.
But you're right. It's this different style of Brood, almost going back to. I don't want to. I'm going to quote it anyway. The 0-4-4 build. When you get the insatiable bite up. And then you just start fighting. You just try and find kills and run yourself in. In this case, it's a lot more of a balanced kind of build, where he's controlling so many different areas of the jungle, making it hard for EG to stack and just flash farm. Everything's being watched. I'm also liking how EG's getting a little bit more inventive with their sentry wards, putting them deeper inside the tree line. A lot more difficult to counter ward for CDEC, even if they do have sentries down.
And it just goes to show how much the Brood is doing. They're really worried about the amount of control CDC are getting on the map, and yes, they're gathered up top and they're not getting killed right now, and they're putting down these sentries, but at the same time, Aggressive is just split pushing the bottom lane, finding his Orchid, and this bottom tier 1 tower is probably not long for life. I don't think EG will be in a position to hold this, so the Brood, even though she is unsuccessful in finding the towers herself, space created.
EG's already prepared to try and force in the top lane, so it's going to be the tier 1 tower there, which took up a little bit of damage. Leshrack's already going to defend the mid lane, which is where another place where EG decided to push. And CDEC, the choice is there. Do you want to try and fight? You're going to shard up to start with. Fear will dodge it. The catapult's still alive, so there's still some decent damage coming into this tower. But at the same time, a gank is also being prepared on bottom lane. That one's looking for Aggressive. He'll be successful with the TP out, however.
Now he cancelled it.
Wait, he did? Wait, if they see him, the Rocket Flare, they're going to see him. The Blink down universe.
Oh, he almost ran into it. I wonder why Aggressive canceled. So I think what they wanted to happen there is Aggressive had to wait for the courier to deliver his Orchid, and then he wanted to TP and actually fight for the top tier 1, but they had already used the glyph. Fear put a really good call down, just zoning CDC out and securing the tower. And when Aggressive saw that he was porting on the tier 2 and he couldn't reach, he just chose the greedy option, which was to not port in because, well, we're not catching them anyway, I'll stay bottom. And then EG go for the gank. If that hookshot lands, I think he's toast. So very important for Aggressive to not get caught out.
Would have been really important for EG to take it as well, because CDEC's about to fight even more. Q has finished a full mech in under 20 minutes over on this Visage. So Evil Geniuses have to be prepared for CDEC to group up and try and force the issue against EG. No need to wait. CDEC will be looking for these early fights.
This seems to be Q's build on Visage. He did this in game 1 against EG as well of the winners bracket when they picked Visage. Most Visage players these days just go brown boots into the solo crest and maybe an axe somewhere down the road. But in CDEC's drafts, they don't really have any other mech carrier, and he makes very good use of it. Of course, Visage is an innately very tanky hero once you get points up in Gravekeeper's Cloak, so you're very likely to be able to get the mech off.
Samael, got to get himself away from this. He just broke the 5-man smoke that was there from CDEC. Observable is watching Universe pretty closely, but as PPD is the man is in trouble until Universe hook shots himself in, going after Garda, but PPD already down for the count, dying to Leshrack, while Universe, the shards will block him in. The snowball art from Familiars are coming in. They do have their stuns available. Might need a little bit more damage as now there's Samael. Can't get the shackle. He was close to just went for the ulti over on the Tusker. Because now EG trying to back out of this one. Samael as well as AUI, the only ones alive, and now he's going to get orchided, stopped up. That's a very, very dead Samael, but the curse, it actually holds Queen of Pain back with a blink cannon. Only stalled up, not controlled completely, and EG losing 4 heroes very, very quickly for the price of a Tusker. Not to mention, now Broodmother with a tier 1 tower down in top lane. There's a lot more map control coming the way of CDEC.
It's very difficult for EG to take fights when they get assaulted on 2 or 3 fronts at the same time. We had like 2 split fights going on. There was the Brood and the Queen of Pain going for the gyro first, and at the same time they get an initiation at the bottom side with the Tusk here. And EG's lineup is just, it's built to take these really strong 5-on-5 fights, but these 2-on-3s or 3-on-2s or whatever right now,
They're going to come out. Universe, hook shot, he misses it. He'll still get in range of the Battery Assault, turning on the Blade Mail as well. Leshrac does not want to try and fight this one, but he has no choice. Denial with the Bloodstone. Visage was still able to get that last hit in the tier 2 tower underneath the noses of EG.
He's going to
Not as
resummon
bad
his
for
familiars
CDEC.
here. This is a big cooldown forced by EG. This is a 3-minute cooldown on level 1 on the familiars for the Visage. And perhaps EG can do something with this, but they lost so much. They lost multiple heroes, they lost a tier 2 mid, they lost a third of their top tier 2. And they have so many problems to solve first. I'm sure they would love to go for these aggressive plays, but they feel like they constantly have somewhere they need to take care of. They have to defend the top lane. Now again, Leshrac is pushing out mid. It's very hard to gather up, get a smoke, and get into the enemy jungle and be aggressive when you constantly just have to struggle to control just your own side of the map. Even half of your own side of the map.
Maybe it's that time then where EG should just find their timing for farm. I know they really want to be taking out this Ancient stack. There's like a quad stack of Ancients there. But EG, the familiars, they're scouting out the fact, like, they're looking over towards the stack right now. So we'll see the quad stack and we'll see Fear farming it up. But EG, they prepare the bait by putting Aoi as well as Samal in. Actually, no, that is not the real Leshrac. All the... Okay, yeah, this is not going right for EG.
They're losing a tier 2.
Yep. This is so much time being wasted by one illusion and a couple of familiars, while then CDEC, they know they could just force an issue. You get a tessellated Broodmother, still gonna fly out, but...
If they get the Roche, this is a pretty good trade for EG, actually, considering this tier 2, there was no way they were gonna hold it. They're gonna get the Ancients afterwards, perhaps, and...
CDEC don't see it, though.
They are not expecting this play to come out, and it's gonna be successful.
It's like they're waiting for EG to come out and try and wrap around into the dire jungle. Now the ping comes in from the Tuskar, but EG have already gotten away with murder of Roshan.
That's a very confident play as well. If EG get caught there while they're rushing, the game's almost over. Like, they were already pretty far behind on gold and experience in this game. So going for a desperation play like that is definitely the right call in the situation here from PPD. And getting the Ancients too is going to bring Fear. It's actually going to get him his BKB. It's pretty much just enough.
If you can get all three, it will be, yes. So,
there we go.
CDEC don't contest Roshan. They do scout out the Ancient stack, but are incapable of stopping it or unwilling to stop it. And then you're going to have Samal finding more and more money over on this Wind Ranger. So she's able to combine up something else with the Aghanim Scepter, some level of damage dealing item. Even AUI was able to fall up a full Glimmer Cape on this Winter Wyvern. So there's more and more ways appearing for EG where they can fight CDEC if CDEC try and force the issue. And maybe that's another reason why they're not, until they're in a nice comfortable zone. That's something that T1 Tower, PBD taking a very long time to TP out. Fear's going to join it as well, but yep, all of CDEC. They head down bottom, including the Broodmother.
Another one of those classic CDC rotations where they just go immediately all heroes to one place. And EG read it this time around, they don't get caught. Question is if they can hold their tier 2. They do have the Aegis, of course, on Samal, who will most likely be acting as an aggressive kind of bait here, as I think EG wants to try and fight this. But they do have call down on cooldown for another 10, as Fear used it as a defensive measure, and actually they will be too late. It is gone. No glyph. They also haven't got a smoke, I think, so no real... I'm not feeling confident initiating into that. And
rightly so. Like, there's two observer walls just watching their movement around. So CDEC knew exactly what they could get away with there, and EG had no way to just slip under the radar. As we now get a Blink Dagger is the next item up for Samal. I was wondering if it's actually going to go for damage, or if it all just turned into, you know what, we need Samal for initiation. Even though the clockwork is fantastic, getting that double shackle shot is just so critical for EG during fights.
This build is, in my opinion, the best in most cases. If you're playing a core Wind Ranger mid, it's just, it allows you to find solo pickoffs. It allows you to engage and disengage. You can go in with the Blink, where in a lot of situations you would maybe have to wind run to catch you up first for the shackle, and then what's your defensive, what's your getaway item? You don't really have anything. So this catches enemies by surprise. It gives you single pickoff potential. It allows you to land these two-man shackles, and all in all, just makes you way more powerful for the price of $22.50.
But for now, he's powerful, but nowhere to really use it. As CDEC, they're backing out. So it's Leshrac farming up on top. Trying to wait another 13 seconds so that Bloodstone comes back up. Cooldown, and there's your blink to shackle. Leshrac, well, no denial for you. Brought down with a double damage Wind Ranger.
And she actually used both the Wind Run and the blink. She was really far away but saw the opening.
Yeah, they could push for a tier 2 tower. Like, you still got the double damage rune, and in fact, yep, there goes your Wind Run. They can burn through the tower while on bottom lane. You got the push coming in, and in fact, the hook shot down from Universe, catching an XC, reveals him up with the dot. AUI still has the cursor. Broodmother's not going to go anywhere, and with a cooldown as well, EG will find the kill. Meanwhile, on top, Sumail orchid up and in real trouble, but the Aegis team all of PPD waiting in the wings, but what really can he do apart from watch him die? Is there a blink and wait? And yes! Sumail gets away, aggressive, shackled up, he was going for more PPD. He can't actually lend any more help. Sumail will die, the blink forward, PPD will be able to escape. But almost a miraculous escape from the Wind Ranger.
Nice attempt there from Sumail, but ultimately, again, in a way, this was another fight where CDEC are determining the tempo of the game, right? EG go for an aggressive play, they find the pick off on Lesh with the Wind Ranger, they start being aggressive. The moment there's any sort of rotation needed to deal with the Brute bottom, CDEC immediately gather top with the remaining 4 heroes, and they just run down whatever EG didn't TP away from up there. So EG are kind of forced into a position where they either have to fall back with all their heroes there, or they have to go for a trade, and I don't think that trade really favored them. They lost Aegis and a hero only to kill the Brute.
And they did, but at the same time, they need something, because every time they don't do it, CDEC holds an advantage. They're coming down now. A smoke movement with a hook shot. They catch out the Broodmother once again. Again, that blade mail as well. Not helping out the Broodmother. More TP supports coming in from CDEC. And the cooldown already used from Fear. The Familiars flying right over the top, not getting the stuns. But aggressive, a blink in 2 seconds. He'll be chasing up after Universe. Cogs might better keep them out for now. And in fact, both Familiars don't stun anything. And AUI, where's the shackle? BKB from aggressive. He'll dodge it, and Universe dying so quickly with the power shot for Fear on the front line for the Rocket Barrage with the help from Sumail. They find the kill. The Gem's also over on the deck, and they'll try and hold him here aggressive. Frostbite and PPD. We're going in right now. The freezing field drops, but he will be stunned up and controlled. But Shiki, no, he'll have to deny himself. They're not having a great fight here, see the EG again the upper hand. They're chasing up after Garda. He'll drop as well. Queen of Pain able to escape, running away with that Gem of Truth side of CDEC. So and it's a 4-1 trade-off.
This is what EG are able to accomplish with their BKB on Gyro with the 10-second charge, and the fact that they finally got a fight that was on one front. They got the opener on the Brood. No immediate counterplay from CDEC makes the fight 5-on-4. And when they tried to go in for a counterplay, it's Sumail. Oh, nice deny here by Q. It's Sumail they have to try to catch, because he is outputting so much damage, but Fear takes all the attention in the fight with all the damage he is outputting. Of course, PPD there with a very good freezing field as well. And the Winner's Curse. They got everything off the way they wanted there, EG. And honestly, for EG, it's probably the dream scenario that Universe finds a kill on the Brood, and then that CDEC drop everything on him, because he already used his hook shot and his blade mill. After that, he's not that valuable of a kill compared to a hero like the Gyrocopter or the Wind Rage.
The Wind Rage is going to become more valuable shortly. We're looking at a Desolator build coming in from Sumail. So he's walking around with a Deso recipe. Didn't actually buy the Mithril Hammer. So probably one of those buys where he's not 100% certain that he'll be able to survive the fight.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And this is going to help him greatly going up against that Broodmother, who's already walking around with 22 armor. And they're establishing control again inside the Dire jungle. PPD is trying to farm just on the edge of town.
And I'm surprised with how CDEC are playing this game that the Brood is not going for a BKB. I think it would actually be a really good item this game. You can pretty much ignore most of the Clockwork, you can ignore the Crystal Maiden, lots of Gyro's damage is still magical. So the only hero who's really a threat is the Wind Ranger and her physical damage. You could probably just disengage and find a different initiation angle or a different target.
That is disengaged now. Like they're trying to force out the top lane. In fact, EG... Oh, they don't have any vision behind the towers. They're not as certain about it. With the double damage rune in the hands of Wind Ranger, they could at least force the fortification out from CDEC. And that will allow her to slip into the mid lane at one point and take out that tier 1-2. Sumail's going to run.
He's going to be fine. He has a good defensive ward down around the river area. CDEC once again find nothing. They group up for it. But they do have decent lane positions. The bottom lane, EG didn't manage to push as much as they would have liked, I think. AY did whatever he could there with the Cold Embrace, but obviously couldn't get in too close with the risk of getting caught out. There's a lot of spiders are being cleaned up here.
So much money for EG.
And this is the objective. This is where the fight's going to be.
They're going to be really happy with the spawn timing of this. It's 10 seconds away from spawn, so it's a quick Roshan. And the reason why it's even better is Samuel still is holding on to this double damage rune. So he's got this during the next fight. In fact, EG, they're moving forward at the moment. The hook shot in from Universe. He's two inside the cogs and forces himself back out again. The shots, though, is a real lock-in position. Universe, he just gets exploded, but at the same time, Samuel trying to bring down Garda. There's all the help. PPD, the freezing field's not doing enough work. In fact, he's dying to familiars, and he will in fact go down. They're going in deeper, but Samuel locked in and controlled EG. They're gonna lose 4. Beer's trying to change it around as much as he can, but now they're gonna lose 5. EG went in too deep. AUI blinking himself away to safety, but not far enough. He'll glimmer cape into the pit, but they lose everything. Aggressive with a triple kill. CDEC will also grab Roshan and cement their control of this game. It was starting to swing away from them. It was a 5k advantage in net worth going the way of CDEC, but look at the curve. When we go to the experience, it kicks straight back up again for CDEC. EG, they are in real trouble now.
Samuel just doesn't have enough damage just yet. It's 33 minutes in. He's not having his best game on that Windranger compared to what we saw earlier on in the tournament. If he would have had the Deso, this fight would have been completely different. But they don't kill fast enough with the focus fire. I think they also layer their abilities a little bit too much. There was a little bit of stun layering there. The shackle shot was not expired when the Winter's Curse from AUI came in. And it also looked like they weren't focusing on the same target entirely. So they spread it, like they did a lot of damage to 2 targets instead of killing 1 off. And then the snowball from Garter saves the Leshrac after his self-fuels. And they just get to dodge the freezing field and find all the kills at the end. Beautiful play from CDEC, not losing a single player there. It looked like it was going to be a great fight for EG, but they just lacked that little bit extra that could have turned it their way.
You're right. It also comes down to a huge snowball coming in from Garda. He was able to protect 2 of the CDEC players throughout the fight. So the layering from CDEC was perfect. But for now, CDEC, back to that farming kind of game unless they can find an opening. The Observer was watching all of EG moving into their own jungle. Next wave of items is starting to arrive, so a full BKB Leshrac is now up and running. You've still got the Blink Dagger over on the Tusker. And we've got 2 plate mails, one for the Quap and one for the Broodmother. So we'll be looking at both Shivas and Assault Cuirass being built up here for CDEC. And in fact, the Assault Cuirass is already done. And that's over on Aggressive.
He is 7-0-9. Super farmed this game, 235 CS. He's 3rd highest. CDEC have got full map control now. That one fight just gave them the entire map on a platter, and they even have a gem, so the final parts of EG's defensive lines outside of their base is now gone. And with Shiki with this BKB and the Aegis, the next fight EG take, they don't kill Shiki during BKB with anything else than a Focus Fire Windranger. But her Deso is still not ready, so I'm not even sure that's gonna cut it. And then they still have the problem of dealing with the second life. This next fight CDC are going into with a very, very high odds of winning unless EG get a miracle combo off.
And they even have to babysit Samuel as he tries to complete up this Desolator. Windranger not the healthiest of heroes as far as life goes. Now it's even harder for him. It's just...
It's a good item.
You have to venture so deep into the Radiant jungle for this farm.
They're just up his damage quite a bit with this Butterfly. And of course his defense as well. 35% evasion. There's no MKB on the Radiant. It's a really good item against Visage. The Broodmother will also lose quite a bit of damage. But judging from how the fights have gone so far, CDC haven't really targeted Fear super early in the fights. I think he died last in that last fight. They just went for the easy targets first, and then they took out Samuel. And then on to Fear in the end. If they can tank the Gyro's damage, with this Cuirass giving them all 5 armor, with the Brood giving them all 5 armor with Vlad's, they have 10 AoE armor. The Lesh looks pretty fragile in isolation right now, but he technically has 18 armor during team fights. EG, they don't have enough oomph right now. They have to just wait, try to wait out the Aegis, get the Deso on Samuel, and then go for the fight of their lives to come back into this game. And CDEC can just keep map controlling. They're doing the right thing. They're farming the enemy jungle. They're pushing out both top and mid lane. EG are taking the only lane that's kind of safe for them here in the bottom. And they're not even showing a carry down here. It's PPD who's split pushing. They might be concerned with losing a more key hero at this point.
Well, right now, CDEC's looking for that key hero. They've smoked up with 4 players as well as a couple of familiars. Shiki is the only one showing himself in the mid lane. In fact, yes, they are going to wrap around the bottom. But as you said, it's AUI and PPD. It's the two supports who are down here. Sumel's just trying to farm the jungle. He's 50 gold away from having that Desolator. And right now he's going to walk almost into EG. The blink into the tree line, and as well as TP out. Sumel, he does it in time. And AUI looks like he'll also be successful. So unsuccessful smoke gank from CDEC, and a lot of time wasted for them.
And they lose a tower. They will deny it though, so not the biggest loss, but EG doing a good job reading map movements with zero vision. If you look at the dire vision, they see absolutely nothing right now. And on quite the contrary, CDEC, they have 4 observer wards out.
When these familiars are done. Well, then again, hook shot. Universe, he's found the Bruma, the BKB's been done, and Universe just 4-stars himself away. Is Shiki, he's moved up even further, looking for Sumel. Sumel's gonna get perfectly stunned and brought down by the Pulse Nova. Deal with the call down. He might have enough damage. No, he does not. EG lose 3. This is spiraling completely out of control for Evil Geniuses, and perfectly into position for CDEC. AUI locked on the other side of the trees. He's dead to the world. The only one left up is Universe. But this is the time when CDEC could just push and try and take a Rax. Shiki already TP'd himself up to the top lane. They're looking for more than just one.
I think Universe in that situation didn't realize Ixie picked up the BKB. As I mentioned earlier, I think it's the right choice to go for, and did it after the plate mail. The moment that BKB was popped, the EG were in a lot of trouble. They didn't have the counterplay to the Brood. They just put the Clockwork into a horrible position, and it looks very likely right now that the series will be tied up.
Jump in by aggressive. At the same time, they're going to snowball after AUI. He's down for the count. Universe having this one-on-one battle with a Broodmother. A battle which he will lose. A 4-star away. He had to bail out of this one. Live to fight another day. Fear's already expended his call down to try and stop this push on the top lane, but he'll have to come in with Flat Cannon as well, PPD. That Greave's already been triggered by CDEC. They're happy to find this in Universe so low when he jumps in the blade mail, not protecting him almost to 50 life, but Sumel's the main man who's in trouble. They've lost everything. EG, good game. We will have a guaranteed 4th game as CDEC level the series 1-1.
That Broodmother last pick really caught them off guard. I think both teams played a really, really good game here. I actually expected EG to lose harder than they did. I think the Brood could have just completely ruined their game, but they did what they could defensively. Now, this is something that sometimes happens, you know, in like a best of 3 or a best of 5. You get caught off guard by a hero you used to be able just be focused on banning, and then suddenly you're focused